2014.
You guys want to sign this for Coach?
I almost hate to admit this, but you could add a 1986/2014 onto that sign. That's how many years I've been at this school. It amazes me that the amount of history that a person puts into a program over years and years and years and years. But I hate to admit this too. I counted backwards the number of years that I've been coaching and the number of years that I was a wrestler myself. I'm 55 years old now, and I've got 44 years of wrestling under me. So pretty much my entire life I've been a wrestler. My knees show it, my nose show it, maybe my attitude shows it, but every single season that comes along, I still look forward to another wrestling season, another chance to spend a lot of time with your sons, through the good, through the bad, through the sweat, through the sting, through the sweat, through the blood, through everything that happens in a wrestling season. So, parents of wrestlers, young, old, upcoming, soon to be, I don't care how old you are, thank you for your sons. They're as good a bunch of young men as you can imagine. I don't know what you think about them at home all the time. Probably not that every single day. And I don't think that every single day about them in the wrestling room either. But I can guarantee it, they are the best group of young men that this community can provide. In everything. Not just in wrestling, in everything that they do. They're top-notch young men. And I'm proud to be associated with them every single year. So this particular wrestling season, I was fortunate enough to have the biggest team that I've had for quite a few years. I had 25 wrestlers start the season. Some injury, a little bit of attrition. I ended up with 21 kids wrestling at this district tournament. Coach Fisher does all of the stats for me. I looked at that before I came over. Try to imagine this. These young men wrestled 850 matches this year. Individually they wrestled 45 or 50 apiece. Coach Fisher and I wrestled 850 matches this year. We wrestle every single time your sons get on the mat, but we had huge amounts of success. Wrestling seasons are filled with ups and downs and ups and downs, but we had huge numbers of ups. One thing that wrestling does teach, unfortunately, is 1 minute you can be as high as a kite, the next minute you can be as low as a turtle, lower than that, as low as a snake's stomach. A new wrestler in our program, Keith Shackelford, he experienced that at the end of this wrestling season, and I still almost get sick to my stomach when I think about it. Keith didn't qualify for the state tournament. I get a call on the way to the state tournament, and an official says, "Can your 170-pounder get here and make weight?" I call Keith on the phone. He starts working out. He gets close to weight, and I get a phone call about 10 o'clock that night and says, "Sorry, your 70-pounder can't get into the tournament." So try to imagine me having to make that call to Keith and his father, and then imagine Keith having to deal with that emotional roller coaster. I mean, it doesn't get any worse as a coach. It doesn't get any worse as a competitor to have to go through that stuff. But I still firmly believe, after 30 years of coaching, that even with those highs and lows, there's lessons to be learned from that stuff. In this case, a dang tough one, as tough as it can get, I think, for a young man. But, Keith bounced back. He's going to get ready to go next year. He's going to compete. Maybe it'll be motivation for him to do better, to get himself qualified, to not leave it to chance and stuff like that. But the lessons are tough, and they come like that every single day in wrestling. You think you're the top of the world and somebody kicks your can. You think you're top of the world, somebody kicks your can. You think you're going to win the tournament, somebody beats you. Hey, then I say we got to practice tomorrow. Okay? And you put your head on, not again. And I say plate workout, training day. You go, oh my heck, we're going to have to go through that again. Right? But they keep coming back. They keep coming back. They keep coming back. And as a result, we raise men like Kim Summers. Okay? We raise men like Johnny Schulberg. We raise men like the Meekums because of this sport and because of the community that it develops. I still firmly believe that that's true. That this sport doesn't just develop wrestlers, it develops young men like Colby Simmons. The kind you want to be with your daughter. The kind you want to raise your families. That sort of individual is what this sport develops. That's why I stay involved. Not because of trophies. Not because of Coach of the Year. None of that. I throw that in the garbage in a second to be involved with these young men. Every single day. That's why I do it. That's why I stand here. That's why I go to the wrestling room. Stuff to hand out to you. I'll call you by name and you can come up and collect. I know I owe some of you letters. I owe you tags. I owe you little wrestlers and stuff like that. So I'll call you by name, and then what you need in terms of letter and stuff like that, just fish in the box. Okay? I'm going to start out of order because I want to show you something about my wrestling team. Logan, hey, Rich, and Tristan, come here. This is one of the reasons why wrestling is such a great sport. Logan is older than Tristan. Not by much, but by a little bit. But both of these freshmen can be on the same wrestling team. If you're in a football game, it's pretty obvious who's going to win this fight. But both of these guys have an opportunity as wrestlers to wrestle against somebody equal weight, equal size, hopefully about equal in terms of skill level. But there isn't other sports that allow for this to occur. Wrestling allows for a 90-pounder like Logan and a 290-pounder like Tristan to compete on the same team. Compete as brothers, compete for the same kind of accolades. So it's because of this that I think, another reason that I think wrestling is special, because of this right here, right? And everything in between. You take them from here, and you take them from here, and that's your wrestling team. 98 pounds, 290 pounds. And you spread them out, and your sons fit in there. If I'm a football coach, here's the lineman I want. If I'm a wrestling coach, this is the guy I still want on my team. Because I need every single one of these guys. I just don't need the babies. I need these guys too. So you're special, every one of you. How big, how small, it doesn't make any difference. These are the men that I'm glad to be a part of, and everybody else in between. I'll call your names now, guys. Hi, you listen for me. They drop everything that they're going to do and they come and help. They don't question, they just do it. That's what they do. Because they're wrestlers. Because they wrestled for this school and they wrestled for me. They did that for me, and they're going to do it for the rest of their lives. Okay? And they're going to be better and better and better and better because of it. It's what they do. It's what they are. It's why I'm involved. Mrs. Summers, how many of your kids did I coach? 6. I had Summers on the team for 20 years consecutive. Mr. Wood? 3. Okay. Colby came to the team late. Johnny, Schulberg's involved in the program. Peter's been competing and wrestling for West Jefferson.